If you're ready for a little more magic, a mood lift, or a sign from the universe, you're in the right place. This is the Crystal Bar podcast, where crystals, cosmic energy, and intuition flow freely. I'm Claire, and sometimes it's just me. Sometimes we explore with guests, but it's always real, always aligned, and I truly believe you are here for a reason. So, shall we begin? Before we start this episode, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Catherine for doing this wonderful podcast with me and recording. But I just want to apologise, listeners, because unfortunately, I have my phone on airplane mode and I wasn't expecting any calls. And then my phone rang about 100 times near the end. So if there's any glitches, I apologise. Please bear with us because the conversation flows perfectly afterwards. And Catherine has a lot of incredible information to say. I hope you enjoy listening. Hey everyone. So this week we've got another incredible episode of Soul Talk where I meet beautiful souls from around the world who heal and enlighten others. And today, all the way from Vietnam, well, that's where she currently is at the moment before heading off to Thailand, and originally from Toronto in Canada for all of our Canadian listeners, we have got the beautiful Catherine from Breathe, Move, Exhale, Heal on Instagram. And also she's on there as Catherine Vincent Healing. Don't worry about all of that. I will share the details. But Catherine, it's great to have you here finally.
It's a pleasure, Claire. I'm so happy to be here and have a conversation.
Wonderful. How are you doing today? All good, I hope?
Yeah, overall well. I'm sitting here with my crystals. I'm excited to chat with you and just learn from you. And yeah, I love that you're another intuitive.
Completely, yes. I was going to say, how's the new moon been for you? Have you tuned into that beautiful energy?
Well, I've been, do you ever match your period cycles with the moon cycle? So for me, like a lot of it is about, hey, like where am I at with this cycle and how's the moon cycle? And then I'll look it up just to check up, like what are people saying about what that means? And I looked it up and I realized I'm in a phase where like the way it matches up right now, it's like they call it like healer, priestess, kind of like, because it's like I'm going inwards at a time when others like are going outwards. Like around the full moon is when my period started. So like at this time it's like I'm done. And so there was a sense of releasing for me. So right now with the new moon, there's a sense of let's start fresh. You let go of some things. But how about you? Where are you at? Does that
Completely the same. 100% complete. I use an app called Clue, and you track your cycles. And 100%. I mean, I'm mid 40s now, so cycles start to change. But traditionally, I am definitely around the full moon for sure. And I normally get a migraine around that time as well, so I can kind of feel it. The moon goes a little bit against me for the day, and I kind of respect it, and I just have a chill day. But yeah, 100% I'm the same. Isn't it amazing how many healers are very similar in that respect?
Yes. Yeah, it's fascinating. But I love the moon. I just love gazing upon it, and you can feel how magnetic it is. And I just love thinking about how there's so much going on around the world. It's all been documented. The moon causes the tides. It creates all these statistics, in nature and in the hospitals and in crime. So it's fascinating, the effect on us. And I personally feel the changes too. Like, I don't know about you, but like there's definitely more passion around full moon for me personally.
For sure, 100%. Yes, I completely agree. And you know what? I know we spoke briefly. When I worked in the health service, I actually took doctors' urgent calls to either triage them or get a doctor to call them back for a while. And honestly, on the full moon, yes, we had a lot more calls to do with mental health and just in general, to be honest, but there was definitely a mental health spike. So for sure, 100%, it definitely affects us within.
Right.
Honestly,
Oh, go on.
no, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. So what does the new moon mean to you
Um,
traditionally?
Traditionally, for me, the new moon is 100% about new starts, but I also release on the new moon as well. Often I will do a release ritual as such, let things go on the full moon. But if anything's lingering, I cut it off. I almost cut the ties with it there to allow the space for what I want to welcome into my life in on the new moon. So it's always about fresh starts, but I find it a hyper energetic time for manifesting, almost to the point that I can say, please, new moon, please make this happen, and it will happen. Honestly, I've got a few things.
You're a powerful manifester.
I feel like I'm tuning in. I manifested our home on a new moon. I drew it on a new moon, almost to the T. It is picture perfect, to where the trees are, to the look of it.
You channeled that. So you channeled through writing. That's cool.
I do. And as I say, speaking out to the universe, it listens. I have to have a certain medication. Sorry, we're talking about me. Sorry, but
no, I love it. No, this is fascinating. But did you say I want this house, or were you like, I'm gonna draw. Let's just see what happens, and then it came.
Spoke it aloud. I thought about it. I drew it, and it was literally a simple sketch. But oh gosh, where did I share it? I can't recall. Did I share it on the podcast with a photo? I think I did. It's just the tiniest little sketch with a massive wish list that I wrote. And honestly, when we pulled up, with the exception of there being a garage, which there is space to build a garage in exactly the same spot, it is like for like, honestly. Honestly, it's crazy.
So cool. I love that. I think I've learned from a spiritual teacher that to be able to use your power of command, like to be a powerful manifester, you have to be speaking honestly, not just to others, but to yourself. Like for the most part, like you need to be interested in always telling the truth. So that's what that tells me about you, that you're someone who values telling the truth, for the most part.
Yeah.
And that's why you're a powerful manifester.
Oh gosh, that's really actually quite reassuring to hear how I am able to channel this energy and, bring to fruition what I want. And I completely agree with you. I can't lie. That's a really bizarre feeling. If I try to even lie, my heckles go up. I get goosebumps. I feel tingly. I hate the feeling. So yeah, I'm definitely aligned with the truth for sure. And I think that's why some friends like me, because I hate the saying, but I do do tend to tell them how I see it, and sometimes it goes down well, sometimes it doesn't. But
it's a blessing. They'll realize that if they don't at first.
hopefully. But listen, I really want to talk to you actually, because all of this energy, you are an intuitive energy healer and a divine blueprint guide. I think that's right. And you are skilled in so many different ways. You can help people release blocks and return to their soul designs. And this is massively new to me, so I am really excited to learn more. But can you just tell me what led you to this powerful blend of intuitive energy and healing, etc.? I know that's a big question, but how did you discover you could do this?
For sure. I want to share this with everyone. I want everyone to unlock these intuitive abilities in themselves if they wish to pursue it.
Okay.
And so it is my desire to, for me personally, to break my own visibility blocks and just start sharing on the socials. And I've traditionally hidden behind words, but I do want to become a bit of a talking head and just get out there. And I want to share everything I've learned so that people can do it themselves. But yes, if they want, I can guide them through it. How I got to this point, I went through a lot of trauma, and I do believe, it's just a personal belief, that I chose this life. It's just from my studies of near-death experiences. So as a result, I believe that I chose my life on the other side. I chose my parents. I chose to be born in Toronto to Vietnamese refugee parents, and so on, and to have these circumstances. But what ended up happening is that I I had a lot of trauma. And I'm not trying to blame, my parents or Canada, or Toronto specifically. But, like there's a lot of distortion out there and everyone's trying their best. But this is where we are in society and in our families and with each other, right? And with ourselves, right? Everyone's
Absolutely.
trying. We're doing our best, but there's a lot that can be improved. So as a result, I accumulated a lot of trauma, like I guess you could say ancestral trauma, all kinds of trauma, societal trauma. So I was on this path to undo it because at the age of 36, I was still in freeze state. Like if you think of Eeyore or Daria, clearly I'm an elder millennial,
Yeah.
by making references, but like I was born in 1984. But yeah, like I was basically, the light was gone in my eyes and my face was blank. I didn't really have many thoughts. I couldn't really construct thoughts. That's what happens when you enter freeze state. And my body was rigid like a log. I was moving in linear ways and I was barely moving. I was always so still, kind of like a dog in learned helplessness after they've been like kind of thrown, difficulties all their lives, right? And so
Yeah.
people can get like that too. They can enter freeze state. It's going to be either fight or flight or freeze or fawn. So I was in freeze state and I was in freeze state for a very long time. I wasn't able to laugh or smile anymore. I couldn't even send an emoji or give a high five. It was just, I
Oh my
just
God.
couldn't do it. Yeah. And so I knew, and I was looking through these thick glass windows at everyone else smiling and pursuing their dreams and all that kind of stuff. And I knew something was off. I was like, why does it feel like I'm looking through this window? Like, why can't I have that? Like, why can't I just be happy and pursue my dreams? Like, I couldn't even close my eyes and imagine a future because, I mean, first of all, I do have aphantasia. So I lack the ability to form images with my mind's eye.
Yeah.
But like, I just couldn't even use my thoughts to imagine a future. And that's also what happens in freeze state. Like you got the blank mind. Like you literally cannot fathom a future self with, goals and all that. So I was just on a path to undo all that trauma. And it started with yoga to be embodied because I got the sense that yoga was healing in that way. My dad had just passed away like February
Oh, who's that?
2015. Thank you. And the grief it doesn't completely go away. It just kind of, there's an ebb and flow, right? As anyone who's lost someone knows. But yeah, so that kind of catapulted me onto my path. Started doing yoga, did a lot of it, and it got me into my body. It got me embodied. But, that wasn't enough. I was still super rigid. I was grim. And so I started exploring freestyle dance and that helped me to loosen up a bit. It opened up more connections between body, mind, emotions, and spirit. And then I got into improv because you know what? The yoga and the dance were not enough. I was still unable to laugh and smile and experience joy. So, the free state was still there actually to some extent. Yeah. And so I took the improv. I took a couple of courses. It was COVID at the time. So I took a bunch of online courses at Second City, which is in a couple cities in North America. I know Chicago's one of them. It's in Toronto too. And that was really good. So like basically I taught myself to be light, to laugh, to like just collaborate with others socially, to have positive social experiences where you have the banter, you have the back and forth. And, improv is life. Like once you realize that, you can be like this in your everyday life, you bring the improv everywhere. I brought it into my teaching. It really helped when I was teaching kids one-on-one and when I was teaching kids with multiple exceptionalities, especially when they came to school hostile. And so it's all that humor and the banter and the fun, the lightness. It just really was perfect in that setting in this special needs school with all these amazing kids. And it was good for me too. And beyond the improv, I took acting. Like it's just, I'm mentioning these important steps because they're not enough on their own. I still needed more after the improv. I
Yeah.
took acting classes because you know what? I wasn't really connected to my emotions. Like I knew I have to branch out. Like I'm only used to being sad and angry and like, I guess not much else really. Like maybe a sort of not feeling state, like just like a numbness,
I
a
think
bit of
what
like,
you're saying is going to really, really resonate with so many people listening. I feel like
yeah,
to varying degrees or lesser or bigger degrees, everybody has experienced this. And I, for one, am sort of nodding my head sat here because I was in a very similar state and I never really knew what that was. But it takes a lot of strength to get out of it. So I applaud you for that. So with all of this, I'm sorry to kind of jump in. Was there
No,
like
I
one?
like that. Jump in anytime. It's your podcast. I want to hear your questions and I want you to jump in and be like, share your comments. But thank you. I'm glad it resonated with you.
100%, as I say, thank you for being open and honest. But was there one pivotal moment in your own healing then, or your spiritual journey, that really awakened your connection to your intuitive energy work? Was there kind of like that eureka moment?
For sure. Yeah. So basically, I would say once I had some energy healing from other practitioners to clear distortions in my body for, let's say, a year or two, and, I already had the other ingredients. I was embodied. I had slowed down my breathing to regulate my nervous system and come out of freeze state. My body, mind, emotion, spirit system was ready to really open up my clairsentience,
Okay, yes.
my clair everything, audience, my clair cognizance. And I've had like bits of the other clairs, but it was definitely all those ingredients I mentioned, including, so basically come online when it comes to your physical self, mental self, see them as separate selves that you have to pour into: physical, mental, emotional self, social self, spiritual self, and yeah, financial self. So bare minimum, physical, mental, emotional. Let those come online and jump between the three. Like ask yourself, hey, how's my physical self doing? Like, can I feel my right big toe? Can I feel my left elbow? Can I feel the tip of my nose? No? Okay, I'm not embodied. Let's get embodied. Like, let's do something I love, whether it's tennis or Pilates, just do it and get embodied, like lift weights. And then, from there, you can get embodied and connect with your emotions, because when you connect with your body, you're connecting with your emotions. Your emotions are expressed in different parts of your body through sensations.
Yeah,
And then you will also connect with your mind. Some people are too much in one or the other, right? They're
absolutely,
predominantly
100%.
in their body, their emotions, their mind. So it's time for you to find balance. Like whatever your dominant self is, you need to counter it by experiencing the other selves equally. So that's a mindfulness activity anyone can do. Just jump between the
Perfect.
three and check in.
Do you have more of a descriptive way of doing that for those that might be a bit hyper fixated on a part of their life, whether it be family or wealth, and they're just not given equal measure? Is there? Oh, sorry, my stutter's coming out. I'm getting excited by our conversation. Apologies. Um, my mind is going, whoa, I need to ask all these questions. No, but is there a certain task or ritual or something that you could perhaps give to the listeners about how they could try and balance those areas of their life out? Or is it a little bit too more complex? Perhaps I need to speak
No,
to you, really.
no, this is good, and we can come up with this together. But I'm thinking, pause, slow down your breathing, and just check in with where you're at. Like, are you in monkey mind right now? Are those thoughts running? Or like, are you just deep in the feelings? You're feeling miserable about something. Like, so you're feeling right now, you're feeling hard, but then, or maybe are you in your body and like totally hungry? Like, are you noticing how tired you are? So whatever it is, you're starting out in your body, your mind, or emotions. So that's the dominant self right now. So from there, let's go to another self. And I would suggest the body next if you're not there. And then you could do a quick body scan. And if it's hard to scan and know, actually, like, I don't know what's going on in my right knee, even though I'm scanning with my consciousness right now, my awareness is right there. What you can do is you could tense up that body part. Just go through it like one by one, progressive muscle relaxation. So like your toes, like just tense up everything, your toes, your feet, and then just hold it for a few breaths as you tense as hard as you can. And then when you're ready on an exhale, you can let go and then just notice the difference. Notice how much tension was released. And then you keep going up your body one by one to the other body parts. And then if you just have time for a quick check-in, just tense everything all at once in your body. Just tense it, hold it for a few breaths, release, do it a few more times if you want to. And then from there, you can check in and just see, well, how's my body doing? Is there anything that is speaking to me right now? And what might it mean? Or just, how's my body doing? Keep it simple. And then you keep rolling along. Okay, let's go to emotions next. Like, just see it as like, let's do my check-in with myself. And then like, your task is, what is one emotion I'm feeling right now? At least one, because you're feeling at least one. And if it's a sort of numb, like, I actually don't know what I'm feeling, then okay, register that. But that's something to explore further, because, underneath the I don't know and the numbness is something, right? And so, yeah.
It's okay. I'm
And
just sat here doing everything you're saying.
I'm doing it
I
too.
feel like I'm in a session. Wow.
It's always fun. Like, it's just it, and it brings a sense of aliveness, right? It brings you back into your body. It brings you into your mind and emotions, and it links the three because you're going between the three.
Yeah.
And it just brings you into your environment. Like, you might be noticing like actual things going on in your environment
I have
when
to
before you
say,
might have been stuck in your mind or your emotions.
yeah, that was really powerful. It may have been very simple to you, but for those of us who don't really work within your field, that is a very powerful exercise. I was just sat here tensing a few different parts and releasing them, and then I suddenly felt like a wave of relaxation. Do you know that sort of that nice comfort feeling when you're relaxed onto the sofa after a long day? I kind of felt like that. I don't know if that's right.
I love that. No, that's such a lovely effect. And I wonder if people had crystals around, because I imagine your viewers must be into crystals the way we are. Perhaps a
Absolutely.
grounding crystal, like
Smoky quartz.
carnelian.
Yes, yes, yes.
Like, what were you saying?
Sorry, I was going to say, sorry, apologies. Smoky quartz, we've got the black
Oh,
obsidians, red jasper, the reds, the blacks, all of those nice deep
oh,
thing crystals, stunning
yeah,
crystals. In fact, when I think of any of those, I automatically, because of programming, imagine roots coming from the bottom of my feet into the ground. So
yeah.
if I feel like I'm floating away or under pressure, instantly I root. And it's such a powerful exercise, simple but powerful. Once you can
Yes.
get it, it's amazing.
I love that. And I'd like to add on that, like, once you imagine those roots, they can go down from the bottom of your spine and from your feet, and just
Oh,
imagine them going deep into the center of the earth. And you can imagine releasing whatever stuff you don't need. Just imagine you're releasing it through the roots, and Mother Earth is just absorbing it. But you can also imagine the energy coming up, this loving, supportive, grounding energy from the center of the earth. Just imagine it coming up through the roots into your body. And you can press your feet against the ground. You can move your sit bones back and forth on your seat, or just press the parts of your body touching the bed or the earth. And that's another way to ground, to
that
just
is
step
divine.
down. Yeah, it's just
Wow.
amazing.
Is there, I mean, talking of grounding and energy rituals as such, and I'm sorry if you don't call them a ritual or exercise, is there one that tends to be most popular with your clients or one that's called for the most?
A grounding ritual. I would say the roots that
Yeah.
we talked about
Okay.
is something that myself, my energy healer friends, it's very common. It's definitely a great way to connect to the earth for yourself as an energy healer, but also for the participants, before you get into receiving energies from divine forces from the universe, to ground first and connect to Mother Earth and to your body, especially if you're co-creating the session. And,
Yeah.
the participant is also going to share what intuitive hits, what's going on in their body, and if they're going to just co-create the session with you. So yeah, exploring the roots would be awesome.
Absolutely. Honestly, when somebody first ever mentioned roots to me, I just looked at them very blasely. I just initially thought the crystals did all of the healing, but when you match it with the energy healing, the body scanning, chakra work almost, the meridians and everything, and pull it all together, it's so powerful, isn't it? I mean, do you work with chakras, or is it more sort of biofield and auric work that you do?
Yes, yes. I do use the auras as energy centers and ways to organize and structure my energy healing work. And so it's really important. And
Can
yeah,
you see their
I
sorry, apologies. Can you see their colours, or is it just more of a feel or a glow? How do you see the aura or feel the aura?
once in a while I'll see the aura, like visually. Like yesterday I actually saw this black thing. Anyway, I don't want to get into it, but yeah, sometimes I see things, I see these things going on in the space sometimes, and I see messages in nature. But regarding the aura, I don't often see the aura, but often I will feel stuck energies and activations in my body. So it's like somatic kind of sensing, because like you have to be connected to your body to feel the sensations for other people. But, there's also intuition. So it's like a clairsentience and the somatic kind of body intuition. Okay. So yeah. And the clairsentience tells me, through different types of tingling and different areas of my body, what's going on with some layers or stuck energies in the other person's aura to be released. And so I will, with the help of divine guides, it's not me. Sure, we are using our spell casting sort of, right? We are saying things and asking for things to happen through statements and questions. We're checking in, but we're getting a lot of divine support during these energy healing sessions. Well, hopefully the energy healer is connecting to the highest power, right?
Of course.
Highest truth, love, and light frequency. But not always. So definitely I'm urging viewers to check in just to see, hey, like ask your energy healer, what energies do you specifically work with? I think that's a valid question, because sometimes they'll say things like, oh, it's this entity I channel from this planet. And it's like, we don't know if that entity is the highest truth, love, and light frequency. It doesn't sound like it, Sounds like a regular human being, but in an alien form.
Apologies, sorry. I was going to say Claire empathy. That's a big one of mine. Claire audience as well. I hear things more so if I do like a card reading. So I feel like I've kind of got baby steps into most of it, bar really clairvoyance. Ironically, I do see tiny little messages and signs, but sometimes it's so vague. That's something I do need to kind of work on.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm always developing, I'm always trying. And I started seeing words too, and seeing more in a 3D way, because I have the aphantasia. So clearly I'm not making the images, but yes, the images are dropped into my mind when I close my eyes. And especially when I'm sleeping, there's a lot of play happening for me, a lot of things shown to me. Yeah. So it's really cool. I love the clairvoyance, because like, it's just awesome. Like I haven't been able to see these things most of my life. It was a recent addition. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm not alone, that you're also developing your clairs as well.
For your recent developments, was that due to the work you're doing on yourself spiritually and energetically, or was that through something else that they came through?
Yeah, that's a good question. Recently I was in a motor scooter accident, and
okay.
yeah, so like because that happened, I was, you know how like sometimes events bring you to your knees,
Yes.
literally and metaphorically, right? And so I was in a place where I was like, why did this happen, right? Like Job. And it's just like I was given some messages clairvoyantly, and then like things started opening up. I started seeing words, and like I started seeing a full human face, and things lighting up on their face and stuff like that. And which is big, because when you have aphantasia, you can't, like, I've seen your picture several times, but when I close my eyes, I cannot recreate your face right now. That might change.
Yeah, wow.
Pardon?
I've actually genuinely not heard of this, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, aphantasia, it's a new thing. Like, people with aphantasia think, oh, I thought everyone was like this, as in like black when they close their eyes and not able to make an apple if they wanted to. And then those who don't have aphantasia think that everyone's like them. So it's just a new thing. It's not even, categorized as a learning difference at all. It's not, you can't get accommodations for it. People are pretty much just talking about it. And I don't think really many research studies have been done. So that's where we're at right now. But, when I do share it, some people say, oh, that's what it's called. And I have it too. So it's a thing. It's just a weird kind of invisible thing.
Do you feel like it benefits you in some ways though, because your mind can't be clouded as such during your energy work? So you're not kind of pulling in things from your own mind's eye. It's all
Yes, you're right. No, it's true. It's true. And like my monkey mind wouldn't be as difficult to navigate. Like my monkey mind would be more like, oh, here's a thought. Okay, here's a second thought, third thought, fourth thought. Here's how I feel about it. But like there's my mind is blank. You know what I mean? I can't see any visuals. Whereas others have to contend with that plus other visuals as well coming in fast and hard, right?
Of
So
course.
I know it can be tough for meditation, but for me it's probably a lot easier to focus on energy healing, to meditate, to manifest. So it's a blessing in disguise.
It's actually, to me, sounds like a real blessing for sure. 100%. I try to clear my mind during any work I do with clients or for whatever reason. And often or not, I do get quite big visions. And sometimes I do wonder if it's just my mind's eye or whether it is the clairvoyance developing within. So the fact you can distinguish between the both is actually quite a blessing, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you make a good point. And the thing is, you don't remember things very well. Like you don't remember things you read very well because there's visual memory involved and my visual memory is compromised. And you also don't remember memories very well. So whether the memories were traumatic or not, I'm not going to remember them very well. Like, so I have to rely on pictures and video and, written things about it. Otherwise it's going to be vague.
Yeah.
So which is good and bad for the bad things that have
Sure.
happened.
But could I I know we're having a wonderful conversation. It's really lovely to hear about how you've got to kind of where you are at the moment in terms of your skills and your energy. But, what do you actually do? What is your business, if you don't mind me asking? I'm going to kind of go straight into it because I am so intrigued by, this blueprint. I kind of have an idea, but it would be really wonderful if you could explain to the listeners what you do, what amazing
Yeah.
gifts you bring.
Yes. Okay. So basically, I do work with the chakras and I check in at each energy center to release particular kinds of stuck energy. So there's a sense of, first of all, let's connect with your divine guides. Let's set an intention. So we need to set a short goal for the session. And then we're going to release what needs to be released. And it might be related to your intention. There might be something else that the divine guides you have invited have in mind. So we're releasing, we're also receiving, we're establishing a connection to the universe and receiving energies from the universe, much like in Reiki. And we're also receiving from Mother Earth. And so there's releasing and receiving, but there's also recalibrating, there's recoding. And so I am able to support recalibrating some harmful false beliefs, just helping you to install new beliefs that are actually truthful and helpful. So that's where I'm at with my gifts. And that's why I call it Divine Blueprint Guide. I'm just helping people to restore their divine blueprint. By divine blueprint, it's just your soul's highest truth, love, and light frequency. Your very best self. Like who you are when you pass away and you go on to meet your loved ones on the other side.
This sounds quite something, I have to say. I can imagine all the listeners' ears have really just pricked up like, oh, what is this? How do I align?
Yeah, you know what? I invite them to pretend they're having a conversation with their most truthful, loving, light, unburdened self. Maybe they're sitting on a bench in a garden or they're on a roller coaster ride, wherever they want. You can play with the scene and just have a conversation and imagine what they might be saying to you. And you might get some cool messages.
Oh, fantastic. So in terms of when you connect with somebody, is it something you do distantly or do you prefer to work face to face? What does a typical session with you look or feel like? I'd love to know.
I do a lot of remote sessions and I do a lot of in-person sessions as well. And since I moved to Vietnam, I've been by the beach. I was in Nha Trang for 6 months, did a lot of beach sessions there. And in Da Nang, I've been doing more remote sessions because I got into that accident. And so I was doing more remote one-on-ones and I've been to markets too. So yeah, it's a mixture of both and it still works. I just worked on my friend and she has an autoimmune disease and she felt a host of changes. And so I was super grateful for that she could feel things physically changing, but also mentally and emotionally. And so that's another indicator that changes happened. If you check in with yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally before the session, and then after this, and during the session as well, you're welcome to track that. And then after the session, just check in. Like, did something change physically? Okay. Mentally. All right. Emotionally. And if there was at least one change, that's a sign that something happened, right? If you got lighter in some way, if something became more easeful, then yeah, the divine came in and supported you.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. The fact, though, that you can connect with anybody from around the world and support them in that way. So this isn't Reiki as such. It's a different kind of energy healing, is it?
Yeah, I've done Reiki. I've got my Reiki 1.
Okay.
I did give volunteer Reiki when I was in Toronto, a yoga studio. But yeah, it's not Reiki because Reiki is very specific and involved, there are traditions, right? There's someone who discovered it and it's got certain symbols and practices. So, and I know it's different when you advance and become a Reiki master, and I cannot speak to that, right? I only got my Reiki 1. I can only speak to my Reiki 1 attunement. Like I didn't need to get attuned, but in Reiki you need to get attuned. So it's just different. It's like sort of like a tradition of energy healing techniques passed on. And I've heard others speak about it as, Reiki is like you're filling up your gas tank in a general way. I'm sure Reiki masters will step in and say, no, 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 I don't get general, I get specific. But generally, I think Reiki 1 and 2 is more like, hey, let's see where the energy goes. I'm going to put my hands on you. The energy is going to come from, source, or like that kind of tank in the sky that's universal and unlimited. And it's just going to come through me, just like pranic healing, right? Except pranic healing is not, you don't need to get attuned to be a pranic healer. You're just, that's different.
Yeah.
But it's like that where the energy comes through you, through your hands. But then like intuitive energy healing, that's just more, I think it's individualized to the healer and their unique gifts. It's not a modality you need to learn. And I think you can draw on modalities you're drawn to. Do you know what I mean? It's very individualized.
I do.
And yeah, every session's different.
Absolutely.
But with Reiki and other modalities, right? Every session's kind of the same, unless there's an element of customization involved, which I'm sure the Reiki masters do. I don't want to get anyone upset and say anything inaccurate.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't trained in Reiki, but everything you're saying again seems to resonate in that I've got a golden energy I use. It's almost like when my dogs were poorly, I use like my hands a few centimeters over their body and imagine this golden ball of light healing and going deep within. So I guess that's just my kind of energy healing as such. A lot lower level than what yours sounds. Yours sounds really divinely high, I have to say.
No, I'm sure yours is the same. It's just you're just not maybe stepping into that identity fully yet, but maybe it's starting. Yeah, maybe it's dawning on you that like you are totally an intuitive energy healer. You already do it on your dog. I do it on my dog too. There's always stuff to release. There are always layers. It's insane. Have you found that?
Yes, yes, for sure, for sure. Gosh, I find that, I don't know, everybody and everything feels so different. And I don't know, again, if it's the empathy in me feeling energies in different ways. And perhaps I do need to do some training, to be honest. The more I'm listening to you, perhaps I need to refine this.
That. I feel like you have everything you need because, you already channel it. You're using visualization. So like, okay, you're using visualization, you're using your intention, you're using your eyes on your dog, right? You're using your hands.
Yep.
So, you've got everything you need and you're channeling it from the divine. It's not coming from you. Although I know some healers actually can, have things come from them, right? I'm not saying all of it has to come from the divine. Like some healers can actually do certain things because, they've had past lives that give them the authority to, like the standing to.
Yeah.
So that's why I said, hey, I can help to recode, but like, that's not something everyone can do. It's just my experiences that allow me to do this. And so you have certain experiences. You're a crystal master. So, oh man, I can't wait. If you get into this, if you like, you're going to be like a crystal healer for sure. In addition to so many other things, maybe you'll be a pet healer and whatever, you can be whatever you want. But like, I can see you already being a master crystal healer using the crystals and everything you're already doing on your pet and on yourself.
Oh, I love this. Oh gosh, I just feel like I'm a knowledge giver. I just feel like I need to empower the world, if that makes sense, and not
I know, I can
gatekeep
see that.
anything. That's why I do what I do in a way. I like to consciously source these crystals and give people crystals they can trust and they're energized and they work, in my opinion. However, yeah, I do feel like there's more going on. I only recently, perhaps, gosh, when was it? A year and a half ago, started card readings, and that was a
Mm,
tap into that. It's oracle cards, so it's all very intuitive with along with
yes,
the support of the cards. But
yes.
again, that's only something I've recently allowed myself to develop, and since doing so, I felt so much freer. And I don't know if you felt the same way. Like this weight was lifted off my
Yes.
shoulders, and I could finally
Mm,
live in my truth. That's the only way I can
mhm.
describe it.
Yeah. Is it because you were just were you limiting yourself to like, oh, I'm
Suppressed beyond
in
belief.
crystals?
Yeah.
Pardon?
Completely suppressed by the world and
Uh,
others' opinions of me, of what I should be. I
yeah.
I was behaving and acting in a way that I just thought society needed me to be. And then I kind of hit the bottom, like what you suggested. And one day I just cracked open and this light flooded out. And I was like, right, no more. That's it. Here we go. Let's rebuild. And here we are.
Oh no, yeah. No, you're so heart led. It's so beautiful. And your course is so affordable too. It's just, you're so humble. It's crazy. I just hope you're paying the bills, okay? You deserve it. You deserve to experience luxury. But yeah, I can
Yeah.
see how much you give and it's amazing. And I'm glad you broke out of it and you're exploring different modalities. I do love exploring card readings as well. And I'm wondering, do you just draw on your own intuitive insights, or for now, are you learning from the book's messages?
A little of both, actually. I do like to look at the card intuitively at first. We also look at numerology with the number on the card. And then I
Or-
do, as a last minute type thing, have a skate over the cards, the meaning, just to ensure that I haven't missed anything that the cards are teaching us as such. And 9 times out of 10, it's what I've already said, I would say. I'm often repeating myself as a reaffirmation of the message. Occasionally I'll get visions and like, but it might just be an animal or it might just be a ball or something that I will mention, or a certain coloured haired person. It means not a lot to me, but often I pass this on and it's a eureka moment for the listener. So things are
Amazing.
still awakening.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we're always perpetually awakening. It's crazy.
Yes.
It's like the things that are unhealed. And I feel like when we release more distortions and when we come more into our truth, love, light, and power, then like just more keeps coming in. But it's also hanging out with people who are on the
Yeah.
same path. And that unlocks things as well. And so that's why I took 2 medical intuitive mentorships instead of just one with Patrice Christofiak. And
Wow.
he's a
Lovely.
medical intuitive. Yeah, because I knew that being around this small group of healers who are just trying their best to be in their highest selves, I knew it would continue to unlock gifts and deepen connections, and it has, and I'm super grateful. So never underestimate the power of synergy, that group energy of
For
healers,
sure.
even just two, even just two healers together,
Yeah.
it's like 1 plus 1 is like infinity.
For sure, absolutely. But do you find when you perhaps meet a new group of people, or there might even be someone in your friendship group or family that is not aligned and they're quite toxic, do you find yourself shutting down, almost like all the shutters are going down to stop the energy leaking into your vibe? Do
Yeah.
you do that? It's
Yes,
I
yes,
don't know if
for
anybody listening
sure.
gets that for sure. It's a thing
I
I've
think
experienced.
so. Yeah, no, it still happens. And, I think it's a lot of it is, we're uncomfortable with group dynamics. Because it's usually one or two, who kind of take over. And if that one or two who take over, and not just take over, like sometimes there's a conductor, right?
Yeah.
They researched this in psychology. There's always a conductor. And if the conductor has any kind of toxicity, there you go. Now the group is infused with a bit of toxicity, right? And maybe there is some weird like worshiping dynamics where they put some people on pedestals, and then that means everyone else is looked down upon. So it's just, there are interesting dynamics because we're so human. We're still flawed. We're still learning, even if we're like a group of healers trying our best, right? Because we still have layers to release. It's the work is not done just because we're healers, right? It just means it's like we're more aware of all the stuff we need to release and all the ways in which we're like not our best selves, right? So yeah, it still happens and it's uncomfortable, but I'm still learning. I welcome insights from you if you have a way to navigate these situations. But for me, I think I just try to stay away from those kinds of dynamics and just consciously creating a container that where you feel safe, choosing people who make you feel safe. So if any alarm bell goes off at all, be embodied, notice what you feel in your body. You know, your face is hot. Why? You're angry. Why are you angry? Did someone just cross your boundary? Oh, you just discovered something you value, right? And something that person doesn't value. And so what's the next step? So just stuff like that. And people know it. It's harder following it, you know?
No, I agree. I agree. And I actually do the bubble effect where before I go into any situation where I know someone may be that I do find quite difficult to be around, I imagine this protective bubble around me, like Glinda, the good, you know, when she's floating down in a bubble. Or the Ready Brick glow. I don't know if you have Ready Brick where you are. It's like a porridge cereal, and then the little creature on the box is glowing. So you almost imagine this golden glow of energy, and I find that really works. However, if I'm caught out, like I was recently, I literally imagine my everything shuttering down, like being closed down so it couldn't absorb into me. And that worked a great deal as well. And just obviously politely saying, I've got to go now, bye. And letting myself, making myself excuse.
That happened to you. Yeah. So just leaving the space, right? Like you've got to go. Like, yeah. So I've done that too with difficult people. But there have also been instances where I stayed, unfortunately. So it's just, you know, a lesson I need to keep learning.
So in that vein, what if you had a client or customer that came to you who was highly sensitive or empathic and absorbed others' emotions, what would your advice be for someone who is navigating that overwhelm of life or just relationships? Would you have any golden advice for them?
Yeah, I would, because I've been through it. Like, it's just so difficult to be this open empath, to just love the world, right? To love people and to not want to hurt a soul. And so you're so open, you're so porous, you're taking in other people's stuff, you're loving them. You don't need to even know them. You just care. But the problem is it messes up your aura, and that keeps you from being your best self and solving all the problems and, you know, the issues and all the things you're studying in this life, you know, all the things you signed up for, all the things you're meant to learn, navigating in your body through your eyes. So do you really want to compromise your temple, your vehicle, as you navigate, you know, these lessons in life? It's difficult because it's all that stuff isn't going to go away on its own. Like if you take a shower every day, you can imagine it, but you'd have to actively imagine it releasing. You can go into an ocean, for example, and imagine it releasing. But when you don't actively try to release the stuff, or you don't have access to an ocean, then all that stuff's going to stay inside your aura, and it's just going to add this kind of muck that prevents you from being at your best energetically in your energy centers. So I suggest, oh, go on.
No, carry on, please. I'm sorry. Just so many questions. This is so interesting.
Having another time. So what you should do is love yourself, stop betraying yourself. And I say this kind of slightly strongly because I'm trying to make a point, right? Because when you put someone else's needs above your own, which is what you're doing when you're just opening your aura to them and taking on their stuff, you're making yourself a 0. You're making them a 100, right? And they're here to live their life. You're not here to live their life. So why are you taking on their stuff? Why are you taking on their demons, right? So just, first of all, just ask your divine guides and call them what you call them. Like, is it the highest power? Is it Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene, Kuan Yin, Buddha? So call on your divine guide and just, or even your highest self. If you don't believe in God, that's fine, but you might believe in the higher power that is your highest self, right? Your soul that lasts beyond this life. So call on them and just ask them to release it. Just say, hey, please please release or clear whatever doesn't belong to me. And you can say it 3 times. You could say it a few more. You can make it your own ritual. I would recommend saying it at least once out loud. And then just trust that your higher self or your divine guides did help you to release what you could that wasn't yours. And so, yeah, just loving yourself enough not to betray yourself any longer. Like, you need to have integrity in your aura. You need to have boundaries. And that involves not taking on the whole world's stuff all the time, you know? And you have this gift for a reason. You probably signed up for it because one day you thought it might be cool to be a healer. I mean, like, because this is sort of like a bit of a foundation, right? Like, you need to be able to be an empath and know what it's like to be in another person's body, right?
Yeah.
Before you become a healer. So yeah, that's the first step. And then if you want to just be an empath and turn it on and off, fine, that's great. Life is amazing because you can really enjoy the flowers, you can enjoy TV shows and like really traveling into that character's body and mind and emotions or whatever kind of empath you are. You can travel into crystals and really feel the crystals or really connect with God. But if you want to go beyond that, you can start really strengthening this gift and turning it off most of the time, because that's what you need to do to navigate your life. You incarnated as a human, right? So you need to live your life. You got to pay your bills. You got to, work your job. So your gifts should be off most of the time, and use your senses. Use your human senses. That's it. Like, see, hear, smell, taste, touch, be in your body, and respond normally like a human being, right? To things.
I mean, sorry, apologies. Just going back to what you just said, actually, are you of the mind then that everybody chooses their own life, their own existence based on their life before? Is that something that you practice?
No, it's in the near death experiences literature.
Okay.
I've read a lot of those books that, yes, on the other side. So once you pass on, you go to that life in between lives, and it's a space where you reconnect with your deceased loved ones. You reconnect with your divine guides. We all have divine guides, and you might come before a council and discuss some things. There's no judgment. If anything, you might judge yourself because you do have a life review. And so, yeah, I am of the belief that you choose your own life. But you know what? I've heard recently that there are people who believe that you don't choose your own life, that like you
Oh,
can be tricked into, like, through false light. You can be tricked into reincarnating again and again to have these weird patterns. But I don't know what to make of that. I think I need to spend some time sitting with that and
yeah.
exploring
I don't know if
that.
I like that idea, but I don't
I don't
know.
like that either. Like, we need at least, no, I want it to be a place where when you pass on, it's like, no, complete love, light, and truth, not this kind of weird false light thing going on that you have to
Yeah.
navigate even further. But yeah, I probably don't believe in that, but that's just an idea that's out there, and you have to be discerning and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, I really feel that we level up. We learn, we level up, we learn, we level up, if that makes sense. But sometimes we are sent back to disfortunate situations because we can teach and guide others through that, if that makes sense. It
Oh
doesn't
yeah.
necessarily mean it's our path, but it's just a little detour we have to go back to because we've learned so much wisdom that we can help empower people out of it, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
I
Yeah.
do
And so
feel
do
like
you
we
see
level
that?
up though.
I agree. And do you find that the things you've had to overcome are things that you're helping people with now?
110% for sure, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In fact, all through my life, my dad always used to say that I was always the one people would just knock on the door or phone, even as a child, a teenager through the 90s, to
Mm.
lend an ear to because I just had that empathetic ear and just seemed to be able to connect or bend to whatever they needed at that time. So
Yes.
for sure, I do feel like, do you know what? I don't know. I'm not aware of past lives, I'll be honest with you. Maybe I am. I have a lot of deja vu. Don't know if that's a past life thing, but yeah, I do completely sit with where you're from, really. That kind of view on it. Haven't looked into it, but it's definitely an interesting subject for sure.
That's amazing. I haven't had deja vu since I was a child,
Oh,
so it's a
really?
fascinating feeling. Yeah, that you're still feeling it.
Oh, and
That's cool.
I have really vivid dreams, like premonitions as well.
Oh, so do they come true?
They have done, unfortunately, with great world disasters to the extent that, yeah, unfortunately. So even things like the Paris riots I foresaw, I just had this vision, this feeling. And anytime it happens now, I mention it to my husband just so that if anything happens, I can say to him, I saw that happening. And he doesn't think I'm just pulling the wool over his eyes. We had, yeah, we had a horrendous disaster here a few years ago called the Grenfell fire, the Grenfell disaster. Don't know if you've heard of that. It was horrific. It was a big tower block in London that unfortunately went up like an inferno, and a lot of people lost their lives. And I kind of foresaw that. It was horrific. It still is horrific what these people are going through, in all honesty. They're still not, it's still not, well, it's still there. This tower, and the community have been let down. There's a lot going on, but I mean, I'm not saying that I could have stopped it happening, but I kind of foresaw something like that. And when I came downstairs the next morning after I spoke to my husband and saw it on the telly, and this specific vision I had seen, it was just, I was just dumbfounded all day, if I'm honest with you. There's nothing I could have done to stop it. I didn't know the specifics. I just saw it. Yeah, so there's something else people don't probably know about me. If anything bizarre comes to mind, I do mention it now so that it doesn't look like I'm lying or trying to put,
Right. Yeah. Might as well just put it out there.
I do,
And just see
yeah.
what happens. Yeah. Wow, what a gift. And yeah, I know that's a lot. You must be super, super grounded and discerning and just so large-hearted to be able to handle that kind of information about
Well,
disasters happening.
sometimes I'll be honest with you, it's so much so. Yesterday we were meant to have gone somewhere very special that I'd booked a year ago, and I cancelled it. And unfortunately, that evening, at probably almost the exactly the same time that we would have been passing through the local town, a big accident happened. And I said to Stuart, my husband, what if that's why? I just had this feeling. I really wanted to go, but something was holding me back. So we didn't go. This is how much my husband trusts me now. And then, as I said, that evening, around probably the right time, because it took the length of time it took to get there, a big thing happened. And I don't know, perhaps I'm overthinking it sometimes, but you have to listen to these things, don't you?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's crazy.
I mean,
There's no logic there. You just have to trust the intuition that
it
comes in.
rarely happens. Rarely happens. Normally, I kind of walk past it and move through it and go, no, it's fine. It's just a thought. But yes, there was a very strong feeling. So who's to say, hey?
Right. So which Claire do you think is really your main Claire?
Oh, gosh. Well, as I say, I feel like clairvoyance is I don't know really. Empathy is huge for sure. 100%. I've always been very clear empathy, but I do feel as well that a bit of claircognizance as well. The feelings, yeah, I do a little bit. It's the more the it's just simply knowing
Thoughts and the knowing, the
it's the
divine knowing.
knowing. Yeah, it is. I used to think it was empathy because of the feeling of like energy. Did you hear that? Sorry.
There you are. There you are. No, you glitched a bit. So you were saying, sorry, you used to think.
No, sometimes, like with empathy, obviously you feel energy. Like when you walk into a room, you can feel people's emotions and energies and everything else.
Mhm.
But there's just something else that's happening of late. And I think it's this clear cognizance where I just simply know things without a logical explanation or prior knowledge. Like if we're in a conversation or a situation, I'm a very methodical thinker, or my husband calls me the fixer because I seem to know things, how to resolve. Sorry. I don't know if my phone glitching.
A little bit. I heard you say, you know how to resolve things.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, just anything very methodical and on this planet, on like day to day physical things, almost to spiritual and emotionally. If people come to me with a problem, I seem to be able to problem solve it, fix it, know where to get the answer. Yeah, I don't.
So helpful.
It's a very good trait to have, but it can be a hindrance as well, unfortunately, because obviously people
they don't want to hear it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know if that's what this claircognizance is. I get a lot of energetic insight.
Yeah, it could be where you just know something and you
Yeah.
don't know why you know it.
No. And I almost feel like I get angelic messages. They come to me in terms of like the spoken into my mind. Like, this is what you need to do. That's where you need to go. Try this phone number, try this area of the country if you're looking for something specific.
Yes.
And it works. So I seem to be directed almost like having a pendulum in life to get guidance to different things. Yeah, I get that. So
That is so beautiful. Do you know your guides personally, or is it just a general kind of guidance that's always with you?
I don't know them by name. It's just a general guidance. It's almost like my own voice. It's not a specific voice, but I do feel like, gosh, who comes to me as an angel? I used to use angel cards, and is it Michael? I don't really know all of the angels' names, unfortunately, but I used to use them.
It's Archangel Michael.
Yeah. So all the archangels, there are some that definitely work with me. These angel cards were incredible. They were some of the first cards I used personally. And since then, I've had definitely an angelic presence around me. And when I actually went to a psychic fair when I was about 14, 15, so I just went along. I didn't have a reading, obviously, with my age. But this psychic walked up to me, put a hand on my left shoulder, and said I always got my guardian angel on my left shoulder, and that I would always have synchronicities and knowing when things are right. And I have so many synchronicities in life. It's crazy.
Did you want to share about some? I love talking about magical experience.
What? More so, I mean, probably people are bored of this, but it's 100%. That it's massively. When my dad was very poorly, I was seeing 1313 a lot. Phone numbers, time, signs, and that was one of my first angelic number experience. But in terms of looking for this house, when we turned up, as I said, we were shocked. It was almost identical. The colour of the door was still red, like our door, because we wanted another red door house. The number 17, I was told, was significant, was the house number. The new build flowers. Now, everybody down this road, all 35 houses, have a certain flowers and whatnot. Our house was the only house with this certain yellow flower that was planted outside our old house as well. So that was familiarity. And when we walked in, it was amazing. But when we walked in, the house was the Bagua map.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Feng Shui.
exactly.
Wow.
Perfect layout.
It's already
Feng
set?
Shui.
What?
Honestly,
I wonder if they knew that.
well,
Previous owners.
most of the houses are like it, but not all. Some are very similar and some aren't down this road. In fact, the flow of energy, apologies.
Mhm.
And for some reason, someone keeps trying to ring me. So annoying. Yeah, so a lot of the houses are in a different layout, but ours just seems to flow beautifully. So I feel very blessed. And even when we had a kitchen fitter come into the house, he was like, whoa, the energy feels really good in here. And we didn't even live here yet. So yeah, there's lots of things that happen.
Oh, it sounds super blessed. That's amazing. With the perfect feng shui as well.
Absolutely. But can I just ask, actually, in your energy work, I think some of the listeners might find this useful. What signs might indicate someone is carrying suppressed energy or emotions that might be manifesting physically or mentally?
So one sign is definitely a lack of easefulness,
Yeah.
a lack of flow and grace regarding that area that we're looking at, that we're observing, either physically, mentally, or emotionally.
Okay.
So, just someone who's like really preoccupied with certain beliefs, they're stuck in a loop, then they've probably got some energetic looping things going on. If they keep on mentioning a particular person and they can't stop, I guess it's sort of like they're stuck on loop again. I'm using that word again, but truly, when they talk about that person, they're sort of repeating themselves and it's like the same beliefs cycling through. Possibly, more than likely, a cord to cut between them and that person, right?
Yeah.
If they have a stomach ache and, that's been bothering them for a couple of weeks, whatever it is, or they're constipated, like that indicates a certain energy center is imbalanced. an aspect of it. Something can be balanced there. So things like that. Or if they seem kind of haunted, maybe they are. Maybe there's an entity to release. If they're like a shell, like a ghost, like of their former selves, then yeah, there could be something, an entity to release there. And you can just see them as negative energy patterns. Our whole world, it's not just humans. It's not just divine beings. Like that would be a little more than a little naive to think that, oh, there's only angels and butterflies. No. There are other things that are not of the light, and it is what it is. And you can just, a teacher, Amy, part of my mentorship, she would call it's just a negative energy pattern. And I love that because it is,
Yeah.
Anything that is not interested in being loving and truthful would be kind of opposite of the divine, right?
Yeah.
So like you could just call that being self-serving, like serving the self, serving the ego, instead of serving truth, love, and light. Light as an illumination, right? That's still, it's all, I don't know. I know it's all words, but I hope that helps. And I hope it doesn't scare people, the idea of removing entities, because it's just a thing. It's just an energy and you can remove it with divine help.
We all absorb others' energies, don't we? We need to cleanse ourselves from others' energies that might have attached to our own in terms of just a generalized energy. We can often leave an event and feel really drained because it's just been hard work. So it's all about just refreshing that, isn't it? And leaving that behind at the door as such, in my opinion.
For sure. So yeah, that's an indicator, physically, mentally, emotionally, just seeing, is there ease there? Is there any rigidity? Or stagnation physically, mentally, or emotionally. And so you can definitely be observant in terms of body language and all that. And that might give some indications of something more deeply held. And just hearing the things, it's sort of like analyzing a character in a novel. It's just look at the words they say, look at their thoughts, look at their feelings, look at their actions, look at what others say about them. I'm an English teacher, by the way. But
okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm a holistic educator. But yeah, it definitely applies, and I hope that helps. So it's like picking up information, but also that's just through your eyes, right? And through your senses, your five senses. If your clairs are turned on, then like yours are, you can also pick up information from your clairs, but not everyone has access to that.
No. So if someone is listening right now and they're feeling really stuck or disconnected, what is one tiny small step? I know we've mentioned a few, but what is one small step you could give them to take today to begin this healing journey?
Yes, definitely slow down your breathing. Just if you're not already doing that, just slow it down to over 5 seconds. And if it seems insurmountable, then just breathe. Just breathe normally and start by noticing your breathing. And it might be 2 seconds, it might be 2.5, which is the typical length of a breath. So at some point, you're going to slow it down. It'll go to 4. And then maybe after a while, it'll be 5 seconds for each inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
And then if you're comfortable playing with it more, you'll extend your exhales by a second or 2. Or maybe you'll double your inhales with your exhales. And so this will all activate your vagus nerve, your parasympathetic nervous system. This takes you out of fight or flight. It takes you out of freeze state. It's amazing. So slowing down your breath is a huge key to helping you to start that journey to getting back into your body and to return to that sense of aliveness that you had when you were a baby.
Oh, perfect. And as well as that, as well as this amazing like breathing and relaxation, would you say that creativity is great in this kind of healing as well? Or is it more to do with energy rather than physical?
Yeah. Being creative is really important too. So expressing and doing what you can in whatever it is. Like it could be drama, it could be journaling, it could be drumming, but expressing yourself definitely is really important. But to be able to do that, I think you need to be connected to your emotions and also connected to your body. So I think that's important too. Although some people might be actually more connected to their emotions in an out of control way and not connected to their bodies. So just being able to connect both. But creativity is important, but it doesn't solve all stuck energies. Like you might be gifted with a release of stuck energies through creativity, as I have been on many occasions, but it's not guaranteed the way an energy healing session is guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like you'll definitely release stuck energies because you asked for it, you set an intention. But if you set out to make a little art mural or whatever it is you want to do, some watercolors, sand play, you might know yourself more. You might express, and yeah, you might, whatever it is, come to terms with some shadow aspect of yourself, but you might not necessarily release any stuck energies at all. But you might, because the divine might come through and you'll feel it. If it happens, you're going to feel it in your body. You're going to feel those tingles. You're going to yawn, or some people puke. I know it sounds like a lot, but I have an energy healing circle where many people puke.
Wow, so kind of purging it out of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, for other people or for themselves or for the collective. And some people are valves in that way, and that's just their gift and what they've chosen to do for people, right? So
Wow,
yeah,
that's amazing.
you know what? There might be someone right now who's listening who's like, actually, I receive healing every time, and that's true for them. And I love that for them. I have received it a lot. It's just, I don't think it's guaranteed for me personally.
No. But do you, as well as obviously working with the person themselves, do you do any healing of energy in the home, or are you more centered to the person rather than the healing, the space around the person, the home energy?
I generally invite the divine guides at the beginning of sessions to add a violet flame, which you can play with too. Just ask your favorite guide or Saint Germain, who's associated with the violet flame, to set up violet flames around your home in every nook and cranny, in your food, in your body, in your dog's aura, in the aura of every person in the space. And just let that violet flame transmute all stuck energies that can be transmuted. And you can state that, let it do that.
And just amazing.
Yeah, you can play with it. And when I move into a new space, I definitely clear the space in this way. If I have sage, I'll burn it. If I'll use my, sound healing instruments, the tingsha bells and a little sound healing bowl, and I'll go around and I'll connect with the divine guide and clear. But yeah, I've participated in a house clearing energetically. And I do receive, as part of my clairvoyant abilities, I have often received sacred geometries regarding people and also this home. Other intuitives were saying, hey, like there were some kids whose souls are still here. The ghosts are still here in this space. We were going from space to space.
Wow. Gosh.
I know, it's so cool. Closing portals and stuff like that and noticing all these things happening. But there were some kids who their ghosts hadn't gone on yet. And then around the time I started seeing this oval descend around these like 3 dots in my mind. And so that was around the same time that the healers started saying, yes, they've gone on to the other side. It's okay now. The space is clear. And I know, it's just cool. I know. And the sacred geometry stuff is just, it's mind boggling, especially with the aphantasia, right? And also because it's sacred geometry, it's like, oh my gosh, like you're just giving me an oval, you're giving me rectangles and triangles and stuff like that. And anyway, it's really cool.
It's really nice to hear about sacred geometry within your work, actually, because I do touch a bit on that in what I do professionally. So to hear how you actually use it within work is amazing. It's really good to hear, actually. Sorry, just to kind of interject, actually, we're kind of coming to the end of the timer. we've been talking, I mean, we could be talking for a long time, because I tell you what, we'll have to have a revisit for sure, because there's a lot of other questions I've put down. Just finally though, my lovely, and I'm sorry to sort of cut you off, and a lot of listeners are probably going to be like, oh, what? What's kind of happening at the moment for you business-wise? And is there anything exciting you're working on or offering that our listeners should know about? Because it would be really nice, obviously, if they could discover you and connect with you for all the gifts that you have.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'd love to talk about that. So I've been, since landing in Nha Trang and Da Nang specifically, and my parents are from Vietnam, by the way. I did want to reconnect with their homeland. I've been reconnecting with the dragons and with Lady Buddha and with Buddha himself. And they're everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah, it's awesome. So I've been playing with the dragon energies and calling on the elemental dragons and other types of dragons for healing. So I've been doing that for a while and, exploring with people in my life, like my dog, my partner, children, clients. So it's been a lot. And I'm really just so honored to get to work with these really powerful breaths of fire. It's just, wow, it's so magnificent. And, they have different ideas, each elemental dragon, on what they want to do, like the water dragons, fire dragons, earth dragons, air dragons. So I did
wow.
create a session that is just specifically dragon healing. So I've got that. I've also spent some time playing with divine flames, so sacred flames and roses and healing. So I have an energy healing session around that. I've also got a sort of like a soul recalibration, like a divine blueprint type of session where we work on your energetic structure. Because like you could do all the energy healing, but sometimes there are some things in your structure, like, just in the foundation maybe that need to be sewed up or something. Like it needs, like the hole needs to be fixed, the cord needs to be cut, things
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
right? So otherwise, sometimes the energy healing doesn't hold, and you might have a lot of energy healing sessions, but it's like, oh man, it's the same patterns. But if you fix the structure, then that could probably make a big difference to work on the foundation. And I also have just like my general session that incorporates all of those things. It's just like a general one where, we just bring in the guides that need to come in. And I have the Spiral Sanctuary, which is just a series of sessions where healing happens in layers. And it's just for people who I'm thinking intuitives, I'm thinking empaths, and I'm also thinking conscious leaders, like people who lead communities and they acknowledge that healing happens in layers. It's a spiral. It just is. And it deepens. And sometimes it's not healing trauma because they've been on that journey. Sometimes it's just a deepening to a remembering, like a deepening to their soul blueprint, and it's like an activation of sorts of their gifts, an upgrade in their DNA, whatever. It's not just healing trauma, it's just waking up to your aliveness fully, like
Yes.
your full divine self, like your timeline where you are your highest spiritual, financial, physical, mental, emotional, and social self, all of those, like you're like at 100% in the battery for each of them. So just helping people to move towards that through the Spiral Sanctuary. And so that would be like a 1 month container, 3 months, 6 months. I have also like a 12-month container where they can see me once a month, and it's a really great deal. So yeah, that's what I have going on, and I continue to experiment. So more things come in. I have a card reading too. That's also energy healing.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I didn't want to go on forever.
No, I'm just aware of the time. I don't need to be cut off. Just finally then really, how do people get in touch with you, and how would you prefer people to get in touch with you? As I say, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to find out more. I think we should do another session, another little session, sorry, I'm in client mode, a chit chat about these flames and dragons. I think that could be a very interesting session sometime.
I'd love that. That would be amazing. Yeah, so they can reach me if they're on socials. On Facebook, just look up Catherine Vincent. On Instagram, as you mentioned, I am breathe.move.express.heal, or just look up catherinevincent.healing. It will pop up. And I'm on Threads as Breathe, Move, Express, Heal. And I'll eventually get on TikTok and YouTube. I'm kind of dormant there, but like I'm trying to break through those visibility blocks. You'll probably be a good guide for me because like you're just amazing at just showing up and as your authentic self. fearlessly. It's super inspiring. So right now I'm kind of at the, hey, I'll go on some podcast stage and like, I'll do the talking heads thing. Not yet, but soon. But yeah, do the socials. But a lot of people aren't on social. So if they want to just connect with me by email, that's cool too. Just Catherine Vincent 1211@gmail.com.
Lovely.
Oh, I got my website. Actually, you know what? They can just go to Catherine-Vincent.com. That's it. And
fantastic. Okay.
yeah, and as I said, like I want to build that library and share with everyone what I've learned. That's why I like you so much, because you're just so giving and you're just sharing everything you've learned. And so I want to be like you in that sense.
Bless
And
you.
I want to give away everything I've learned for free so people can do it themselves. But yeah, if they want to pay me to get some guidance, I'll help you out.
I just want to pick up actually very quickly. You said how cheap my courses are. To me, I just wanted them accessible. And at the end of the day, I just wanted them to be no more, well, especially the beginners one, no more than a book, because it becomes their own book they can revisit. So I just wanted to put that in, that it's not cheap, it's not rubbish.
No, I'm so sorry that connotation was there. Yeah, that's not a great word to use.
No, I understand.
Equitable, like it's accessible, right?
Accessible.
Accessible to all. Yes. Thank you for that.
No. I wasn't pulling you up. I just wanted to reassure people, really. Oh my gosh. But honestly, it's been a joy to talk to you today. I could talk to you for hours, but I do have a timer on here that's ticking right down. But thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to leave us with, or any messages you wanted to give to the listeners, or do you feel like you're complete in your...
Just one quick one. Just make sure you're just doing things for you. I'm sure a lot of listeners here, it looks like they're empaths and intuitives who love crystals. So please just make sure to do things that light you up. Don't just do things for other people. And, when you follow what lights you up, I think the universe is just going to come in and open more doors for you.
And I think that is, the most perfect point on words of wisdom that I couldn't have said better myself. So thank you, Kath. Before you go, I have a very special discount code for you, especially for those of you who love buying crystals. So the code is podcastcrystal. If you use this at checkout at thecrystalbar.co.uk, you will get a very secret discount. And yes, it is a secret because I changed the value of the code throughout the year. So who knows what discount you will receive. But I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I hope you found it beneficial. And if you have, I'd be really grateful if you could just leave a comment, leave a review, and of course, if you have a friend who loves crystals just like us, please do share it with them. Sending you love, sending you light. Have a great week, because honestly, my lovelies, you really do deserve it. And as I said earlier, remember, the right crystal will always find you.